Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000 square foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Hi, welcome to Furniture Depot. And you, come on in. Yes.
Couches are flying off the floor at Cheyenne's Furniture Store.
Sarah, can you go over to dining sets, please?
She needs more sales associates before shoppers take their seats elsewhere.
Can somebody get me a price check on trundle beds?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Friday on ESPN, presented by State Farm.
Are you ready for the season to get serious on Monday night?
Come on, baby.
Are Big Ben and the Steelers ready to make one last playoff run?
Rock and roll now, let's go.
Are Fields and the Bears ready to get back in the hunt?
Let's go!
The Steel City is ready.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, the NCAA, setting the stage for a dramatic restructuring of college sports, has released the draft of a constitution would provide Division I the highest level of collegiate athletics, the autonomy to reshape everything from revenue sharing to how rules are made and enforced. Also focuses on the NCAA's broader goals of athlete welfare. Proposed new constitution goes before the more than 1,200 member schools for feedback after next week's scheduled special constitutional convention. Could be amended before the full membership vote in January. NFL, former Browns receiver Odell Beckham Jr. on waivers today. Deadline to be claimed for Eastern tomorrow. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Beckham wants to spend the rest of this season with a playoff contender and in a winning environment. Cardinals running back Chase Edmonds set to undergo further testing on his injured ankle today, according to Schefter.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect plenty of sunshine. High temperatures will be warming into the lower 70s for this afternoon, and it looks like we'll be remaining dry. For your Monday night, expect a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling back down into the mid-40s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Eli Gold of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. A new contract and expanded playoffs with the same results. Listen to Alabama football on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You want coffee? Anybody want coffee?
Tom, can you get me off the hook? Roll type say.
The tire's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, we are on a Reaction Monday here in the Doghouse. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Man, do we got a lot to get to. There's no way we fit this 10 pounds of crap into a 5-pound bag, but we are going to do everything in our power to see that we can do it. Phone lines are open right now. Feel free to jump in at 256-5764-977. It's 256-5764-977. That will get you into the show. And look, we have that text line for you as always. That's 7329TA show. It's exclusive to this show. It has been for 13 years in different markets and so on. So anyway, 7329TA show, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. Of course, the radio station is at 97.7 ESPN, and we're on the Twitch and on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well. Our YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I would have worn my Cleveland Browns hoodie, except for I wore it yesterday all afternoon, and I'm saving it for next week's big game against the New England Patriots. So that's just a personal thing for me. None of y'all care about the Browns like I do, but that's my team. So I gotta represent. Like and subscribe there at the YouTube channel, and you'll get notifications from us when we're going live with all of our shows as well. Everything is at 977ESPN.com. All right, and then also the app. You need to have the app. The app is critical.
You can take it near, you can take it far, you can take it in your car, you can take it to a bar.
So the app gets you everything. All right, you can get all the different programming that we have, our alternate streaming channels as well, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4. All of that stuff is at the app. Now, Madison Academy was an easy winner over Hamilton. They will host Priceville in the second round this week of the playoffs on Friday night in 4A. Also in 4A, Randolph won. Now they get 11-0 Brooks. So, good luck to the Raiders on that one. Brooks is the only team to beat Priceville, who is playing against Madison Academy. Randolph's only loss came to Madison Academy. Just going to be a big weekend. We have the Madison Academy game here on Friday night, and we'll have it on our primary stream as well. On Friday night, will have the ridiculous 8-0 Huntsville Havoc on Friday night on Zone 4. The Havoc blew out Macon Friday night, and then they went to Roanoke and won back-to-back overtime games. Now, that's a lot of hockey. They played a lot of hockey, 3 games in 3 days, and they're still undefeated. They will be back in the Hockey Barn on Wednesday night for Veterans Night. We'll have that game on the air for you, unless I'm just making this up. We'll have that game on the air for you. I don't think I'm doing that one. My belief is that Steve is doing that one. And then I'll have the Friday night game, which will be Space Night. God, I hope their uniforms aren't too goofy for Space Night. I hate when I can't see the numbers good. The two things I can't stand is when I can't see the numbers good. And then I had 2 guys that felt it was necessary to stand throughout the entire game, right to my left, about 4 rows down in front of me I'm up in the birdcage in the press box there. And they were about 4 rows in front of me, and I could not see – I could only see half of the attack zone inside the blue line on that side. I couldn't find a puck. I couldn't find the guys. I couldn't find anything. And then a guy and his girlfriend, they show up. They move up to the top row right directly in front of me, and now I could see nothing. From the blue line to the behind the net, I could not see a thing. And I looked at that. I made a comment. They apologized and moved. But these 2 dudes that were standing for the entire game, I could not be loud enough for them to get the hint to sit the hell down or just move a little bit. Killing me. Anyway, I sound like a snob. but it's not the first time this weekend I've sounded like a snob. And beat the big dog. Not a great weekend for me. 3-3 and beat the big dog. Luckily, and I tell you guys this, I make these picks on the air because these are the games that we're picking on the air. I don't bet these games, okay? So luckily I didn't bet these games. Now, I throw a little bit here and there on other things. For example, that Titans game, that was one of those master of the obvious. It was so obvious that the Rams, that was like, it looked like the easiest pick of the week. The Rams minus 7.5. So I didn't take it. I couldn't do that. You know what I did? I took the under. I just took the under. Under 54. It was easy. What was it? 28 to 15 or 16, 28, 16, 28, 17, something like that. I mean, it came in on the under easy. But I don't bet these games necessarily. But the 3-3 was good enough to beat Badger Larry's 2-4. I did have the Green Bay Packers. He and I had agreed on that. It came down to the Browns-Bengals game, which Cleveland dominated in their first game after removing the OBJ cancer. I mean, it was the best game they played all year. Did not put anything on that either because I don't need anything to help me watch that game. Yeah, that game I'm fired up for. I don't need anything to help me watch that one. So I'm now 7-3 against you guys, 36-24 against the spread on the season on these picks that we do on the air. You guys are now 26-34, so the gap is widening. And in the Friday trifecta, you know what? Remember when Grumpy sent that message in on the text window, and he said this is the most difficult Friday trifecta because these games, we had probably a record number of picks this week. I think I took, 6, 8 on the air. I try not to just sit there and just take picks the whole time on the air. I took 6 or 8 phone calls on the air on the games. But you guys used the text window in a big way. There was, 30 picks that came in on the text window. And one guy could put together the Aggies, LSU, and Tennessee. He didn't even need the tiebreaker, which he did not hit. It was Shane in Decatur. Write that down, Grace. Shane in Decatur wins the $25 gift certificate to Champies and a pair of tickets to an upcoming Havoc game. So Shane in Decatur wins. He gets 1 point on the big board, so he gets on the big board. Didn't need the tiebreaker. He didn't hit the tiebreaker, didn't need the tiebreaker. Because he's the only guy that said Aggies, LSU, Tennessee. Only guy. At the top of the 11, Tom Luginbill of ESPN is back. Here we go again. The Grim Reaper. He was on Sparty's loss to Purdue. I mean, this friggin' guy, you got to be kidding me. Everywhere he goes, a team gets knocked out. He was on that game. And now Purdue has taken down number 2 Iowa, number 3 Michigan State. They may be headed for the Big Ten West crown in the Big Ten championship game. We'll get Lugs' take on what was a chaotic Saturday that could have been even worse. Maybe Oklahoma was the biggest winner by not playing. Because besides Michigan State's loss, Ohio State, Oregon, Cincinnati, and, of course, Alabama all struggled. Only Georgia looks unbeatable. And you know what that usually means. The Rams, like I said, they look like a mortal lock against the Titans last night without their best player, Derrick Henry, who accounts for like half their production. So what do? They just go in there and blow out the Rams with a vicious defense. So that's the Bills, Chiefs, Colts, Rams in order for the Titans. They're the best team in the AFC. Get no respect. Best team in the AFC. Teresa Walker covers them for the AP in Tennessee. She's coming up after Tom. Speaking of Tennessee, how about those Vols? So explosive on offense, but having to defend 100 snaps from Kentucky. Since Tennessee goes so fast, I mean, feel free to, give your defense a break. You're going to make the play anyway. Just calm down. Calm down. Against Kentucky, Tennessee's offense averaged just under 10 yards per play, every play of the game. And they had to hang on for a 45-42 win. Now they get a shot at Georgia as a 20-point home dog. 10 yards per play. That's insane. Hendon Hooker was 15 of 20 for 315 yards and 4 touchdowns and managed somehow to get sacked 5 times. In the meantime, Kentucky has proven to be a bit of a fraud. They've now lost 3 in a row. Auburn was miserable in a 20-3 loss at Texas A&M. Alabama was miserable in a 2014 win over LSU. I'm going to get into those games in more depth. Too much depth to put in the monologue. Plus, I am in a bit of a Twitter battle with my friend Tim Brando over Cincinnati. Oh, God, we're going back and forth. Tim is like all about Cincinnati getting screwed and how they should be in the 4 and all this stuff. And yeah, I'm like, eh. And he says, he tweeted making the case that Ohio State struggled with Tulsa. And Ohio State had just a 7-point lead or 5-point lead. No, 7-point lead with 11 minutes to go in the game and so on against Tulsa. Well, my point is that Ohio State did pull away, didn't they? I mean, they didn't need a goal line stand to beat Tulsa at the end. Ohio State got a late pick 6 in that game. They won by 3 touchdowns, okay? They won the game by 3. It's a 60-minute game. They won by 3 touchdowns. At the end of the day, they won by 3 touchdowns. Now, Cincinnati did hang 500 yards on Ohio State. But Ohio State ended up outgaining them anyway. Tulsa put 500 yards on Ohio State, not Cincinnati. Tulsa put 500 yards on the Buckeyes defense. But Ohio State, outgained them. Tulsa outgained Cincinnati 457 yards to 390 yards. Tulsa ran the ball for 300 yards against Cincinnati. They are a 3-6 team, and the game ended on a controversial goal line stand. And the other thing to note is this, and I noted this on Twitter after going back and forth with Tim last night publicly. Some other fans then started jumping in on that tweet. Tim gets very acerbic sometimes on the Twitter. Called some guy pathetic in the stream that I was in. I don't think he was calling me pathetic. He better not. But there's another aspect to this, and this is what I tweeted to Tim this morning as well. For Ohio State, the Tulsa game is a cupcake game. That's a pay-for-play game. You know how 19 to 20, 22-year-old kids react to games like that? I mean, it's hard to get them motivated for that game. That's a nothing game. It was a cupcake game. There's no emotional investment there. They wrote a check for $1 million to Tulsa. While for Cincinnati, it's a conference game. That's a conference game. That's not a cupcake game for Cincinnati. It's a conference game. But Tim thinks that I'm being a Power 5 elitist snob. He called my tweet this morning. He tweeted back at me, and he said, that's the elitist tweet of the day. I mean, personally, I'd move Michigan and Oklahoma in front of Cincinnati. Now, of course, it doesn't look good for Michigan when Sparty loses to Purdue. But look, Michigan and Michigan State beat the first 3 quarters of that game until collapsing at the end. The Wolverines would be in right now. They would be in the Final Four right now, if not for that miserable fourth quarter at Michigan State. I mean, facts are stubborn things. But that's college football. One bad quarter of football could cost you everything. All right, that cat over there in a little glass booth, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and doing, I say he doesn't get enough credit. I give him credit. Doing an incredible job all weekend long, humping like crazy to keep us on the air as best as possible. We had some technical difficulties. He did a great job, though. And now he wakes up this morning, and his beloved Atlanta Falcons are a playoff team right now. Oh, yeah, they are. They're the 7th seed right now. After you heard them on our air. I think you heard them on our air. After you heard them on our air beating the New Orleans Saints. It's Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
The Atlanta Braves now looking at the Atlanta Falcons are in the
Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks are rolling. I mean, Atlanta has reversed the curse or something. I mean, it's something's bad or brewing or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you can't have these three things going on right now if you're a sports fan. You can't as much as people like to, crap all over the Browns and the Jets and some terrible franchises.
I'll put the Browns and the Jets together. Browns are a good football team. They just had to cut that skin cancer
They just had a problem. But I mean,
yeah.
just, for a long – just being bad for a long time.
Oh, you mean for years. Yeah, but they've been good for 2 years.
Yeah, and then constantly losing in big games, for Atlanta franchises. Everyone knows as being any franchise-based team, other than, I guess, the Atlanta United. They were the only team to come in and then in 2 years win the whole thing. So –
that's minor league sports. Talk about big time
it's
sports.
there's still major leaguers at the end of the day. So
all right, so play along with me.
What's up?
At Dallas next week.
Yeah.
Loss. I mean, that's just. I mean, they can beat the Broncos. Oh my God! But let's just call that one a loss. Then they get New England at home. They can win that game. That's 5-5. Jags.
Yeah.
6-5.
I don't know. That's scary. After watching them beat the Bills.
Yeah, right. But, I'm just saying, based on the chalk.
Yeah.
Bucks at home.
That's a winnable game. I mean,
but they're all winnable, but that's let's put that one in the Bucks column. They're going to be an underdog.
It's going to be a Bucks win.
Right, let's put that in okay, so that's 6-6. At the Panthers, I think they beat the Panthers. At the Panthers. That's 7-6.
It was tough at home, that's for sure.
Well, it was, but the Panthers are getting worse unless they reach out and get Cam Newton back. Sam Darnold is who we thought he was.
The thing about last week, it's just that the defense played so well that the offense just did nothing, and it was the total reverse of this game. I mean,
but this is what this is the NFL. This is the NFL. You got the Buffalo Bills getting beat by the Jags.
These rivalry games. I mean, look at.
But they can win that game.
I honestly thought the Cardinals were going to lose to the 49ers. I mean, they had two of their. They had 4 starters out on offense.
They can win at San Francisco. Yeah, but when you got Colt McCoy, I mean, forget about it. You can win at San Francisco.
Yeah.
They beat Detroit. They'll beat them to death. I don't watch them lose at Detroit. Detroit will go 1-16, and they'll be that game they win. They beat Detroit at home, lose at Buffalo, and then they get the Saints back in their building with who knows who will be the quarterback of the Saints at that time. This is potentially a 9-8 team. And you know what? 9-8 right now.
Yeah,
9-8 is going to get you in the NFC playoffs. Now you're going to go against, either Green Bay or Arizona in the first round. Right now Green Bay's the 2.
Yeah,
but I think 9-8 is going to get in because what you've got New Orleans at 5-3. And they could circle the drain. Who knows? They're liable to fall out of this thing with the quarterback situation there. You got Atlanta at 4-4. They're the last team in. Carolina's at 4-5. I think they're going south. Minnesota then 3-5. Seattle 3-5. San Francisco 3-5. Chicago. I don't think any of these teams are potential playoff teams. I don't think any of them. The Seattle with Russell Wilson, maybe they'll get up there and contend for it.
If he can get back. Minnesota's a scary team because of all the offensive power that they have, and it's always up and down with Minnesota. I feel like they lose big games, and it just seems like early on that they just haven't got anything going for them so far. So I mean, just to lose the way they did over the weekend, it's just bad to look a bad look for the Vikings.
Minnesota is 3-5, and they've outscored their opponents by a combined 3 points. I mean, how does that happen? They're 3-5, and they have Philadelphia's 3-6, and they're -14 in their point differential.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's weird.
It's a weird year in the NFL.
This whole year is weird.
And even some of these bad games that people are not looking forward to on a Thursday night or a Monday night that just look at terrible matchups. because a lot of people got hurt. A lot of these games ended up being some really good games. I mean, I've enjoyed this whole season. I love what's going on. I love the Chiefs having problems right now, and I want to see what they can do. And I just love seeing the Titans kind of make the role that they're having without Derrick Henry, because I mean, a lot of them probably wrote him off as soon as Derrick Henry got hurt, and that defense is really stepping up. So it's really cool to see some teams kind of step up a little bit better. And Jacksonville, the way they're playing, I mean, it's just you gotta like it as a football fan, because you don't want to see these games every time they go into these games and just watch a team just get absolutely obliterated, or you know what I mean. It's just you want to see a good defensive matchup. You want to see like a good football game.
I was enjoying watching Cincinnati get obliterated.
Well, I'm sure you wanted to do that because it's a rival, right? I mean, it felt good.
That was the worst beating that the Browns have put on the Bengals since 1987. When the Browns went to the AFC Championship game. I thoroughly enjoyed that yesterday. And by the way, in that game, history was made in that game. The Browns became the first team in 54 years to have an interception return for over 60 yards, a pass touchdown for over 60 yards, and a run of over 60 yards in the same game.
Wow.
It's only been done 4 times in the history of the NFL. Denzel Ward had the 99-yard interception return. Nick Chubb had the 70-yard touchdown run. And Donovan Peoples-Jones, God bless him, who needs OBJ when you got DPJ?
Exactly.
He had a 60-yard catch, and it was only the Kansas City in 1966 was in the AFL at that time, Washington in 1966, and the San Diego Chargers in 1967. Those are the only teams in the history of professional football to have done that. Well, it was a historic moment. Let me get Wolverine Dan in here quick. His Lions didn't lose yesterday. Let me get Wolverine Dan in here, and then we'll get a break in here, and we'll get into Alabama, Auburn, and your phone calls as well. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
What's up, brother?
You are?
Well, you can only guarantee on one thing: the Lions losing. Tom, I have not even watched the Lions game this year because it's awful. It's just a first round draft choice year is what this.
They didn't lose last year. They didn't lose yesterday.
Well, I didn't even watch it. Who'd they beat?
They didn't beat anybody. They didn't play.
Well, there you go.
They're in a bye. They won the bye.
Yeah, they won the bye. That's about it. Or no. How about go bye because that's what's happening this year.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's all good, my man. I mean, and then the Wolverines win, but it's look at Purdue, what they did to Michigan State. Because guess what? They got a quarterback control the ball. We don't have that. That's why we're going to lose at least 2 of the last 3 games.
Who's beating you? Other than Ohio State, I think you got one loss coming.
Penn State and Ohio State.
Penn State won't beat you.
Might bite us in the ass.
Penn State won't beat you. Penn State won't beat you.
Oh, come on.
They won't.
Well, I don't know what you're smoking, but I want some of it.
If you didn't have that fourth quarter against Michigan State, if you could have just kept playing the way you were playing, you would be in the Final Four right now. Right now. But you know what? You still have a chance. You still have a clear path. You have a clear path to the Final Four. All you got to do is beat Ohio State for once. Just beat Ohio State, and you've got yourself a clear path to the playoff. You beat Ohio State. Of course, you got to win that Big Ten championship game, and you're in. So that's all you want at this point in time, isn't it? With 3 games to go, is a path to the championship.
The only clear path we going on right now is Metamucil, and I take it every day. That's a clear path.
All right.
And that's exactly what's going on with this, okay? It's going to be the same thing, Tom. All right, I'm telling you, I'm one step, and I'm moving closer to the hospital, thank God, because I think I'm going to have one.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you know what I mean? Come on.
Have you been going? Have you been going?
People and fans. One fan that's diehard. I'm a homer. I get Tommies and everything. And all these years, Tom, nothing but just a rotten egg.
How did Purdue get whacked by Wisconsin 30-13 and beat Iowa and Michigan State? What the hell is wrong with Purdue?
What did Larry do? He sucked. You beat his ass.
I beat him. Yeah, I beat him. Because he took the Bengals against my Brownies. That's why I beat him. That's the only reason I beat him.
Right?
Have you been going to the Havoc games?
Yes,
I mean, they're 8-0, man.
I've been so far.
One.
I got season tickets, and I only go to one.
Why? 8-0.
I'd like to go, but guess what? I got 2 homes now.
What's that got to do with it? You can't find your way to the arena?
It's called Honeydew. How long's your list? Mine's probably from here all the way to freaking your house, your front porch.
I do my work in the morning. I share with my wife. I told her, I said, I'll give you Saturday morning and I'll give you Sunday morning. But I'm not working in the afternoons. I'm watching my games. That's just the way it is. And I did jobs. I built her some more stuff, and we worked on some things together. And but I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not working during the games.
Did you throw in a little bouquet of flowers or something? Or
I did actually last week. I threw in a little roses last week. I did throw in a little bouquet of roses This week I gave her till 2:00. I told her on Saturday morning. I said, you got me till 2 because I want to watch the Auburn game. Ooh. I said, you got me till 2. I didn't watch the early games. I said, I'm not going to watch the early games. Even though I was on Ole Miss, I threw a couple of shekels on Ole Miss laying 9.5 against Liberty because I am a Power 5 snob, okay? And when the people talk, Liberty is going to go in there and they're going to beat Ole Miss. No, they're not. No, they're not. This is the big boy conference here. This isn't some toying around conference. And so I was on Ole Miss there. And all I did was I came in, I checked the scores, and I had a few dollars more in my account. That's all I know about that.
All right, so I got a question, and I'll ask one, and you got other people. You got to go to your break. Anyway, at this juncture, can anybody beat Georgia?
It doesn't. It seems like they play the cleanest game right now, but they have played the way this schedule has set up. They have not played an offense yet at all. They have not played anybody that's got a dynamic offense at all. And their defense has been absolutely incredible. There's no doubt about it. I am kind of interested to see what Tennessee's offense does. I mean, look, Clemson, maybe the worst offense in the country. UAB, forget about it. South Carolina
was dynamic against Florida.
Vanderbilt, Arkansas. I mean, nobody has an offense here. Auburn, no offense. Kentucky, they're defense. I guess they're okay offensive, and they shut them down. Florida, are you kidding me? I mean, Florida's got nothing going on now. Yeah, South Carolina looked good, but they didn't have the kid from St. Francis College playing in that game against Georgia. I'm not giving, South Carolina is still South Carolina. Missouri's usually pretty good offensively. I want to see what Tennessee can do as far as just moving the ball on them, and then we'll see. If Alabama beats Arkansas, they're in the SEC championship game against Georgia, and then we'll see. But Georgia will be a 6 or 7 point favorite in that game.
Well, I real quick, I was going to throw this in. I did watch the one game, and they haven't played. They're 8-0. They're skating really well. They're passing the puck really good.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of shots on goal, but I'd say their goaltender right now, standing on his head, he's good. And the problem is, this is just fundamentally, everybody wants to move up. He's going up.
I don't know. He's in the middle of the pack. Molosic he's been there for a while. I don't think they're going to lose him. I think they'll be all right.
Not because he's good. Anyway, I'll let you go, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Let me get a break in here. When we come back, stream of consciousness thoughts during the Alabama game for me, and I got a bunch of good texts I want to read. So we'll get to that next. It's the Thom Abraham Show, off and running on a Reaction Monday, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Monday Night Football tonight, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be home at Heinz Field as they take on the Chicago Bears. Teams going in opposite directions. The Steelers riding a 3-game win streak, while the Bears have lost 3 in a row. Pittsburgh is 7-point favorite at home. They are minus 310 on the money line. The Bears are plus 260 with an over-under of 39. Looking at the Thursday Night Football, Miami hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore a 7-point road favorite. Minus 350 on the money line, while the Dolphins are plus 280 with an over-under at 47.5. For vsin.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
A little trash talk during the game? Yeah, we get it. Trashing the state with litter? That's not a good call. Keep it clean. Put the brakes on litter. Keep Alabama beautiful. A message from AlDOT and Keep Alabama Beautiful. Keep Alabama Beautiful is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization serving the state of Alabama and believes that everyone deserves to live in a clean and healthy environment. Their vision is a clean and beautiful Alabama.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service.
Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet and Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet and Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect plenty of sunshine. High temperatures will be warming into the lower 70s for this afternoon, and it looks like we'll be remaining dry. For your Monday night, expect a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling back down into the mid-40s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
The segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage for all your mortgage needs. It's North Alabama Mortgage, serving all of Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee, doing conventional VA, FHA, USDA loans. I am looking to do a refinance on my property, so who am I talking to? Brian Hammaker. Down there, I sort through all that mail and all that junk that I get and all those texts and everything else. Everybody wants to refinance my home for me. I don't do that. I want to talk to Brian Hammaker so I know that I'm getting the best deal possible. And that's what you need to do, whether you're doing a renovation like we're doing, or whether you got college expenses or wedding expenses or who knows what expenses there may be. You got that money tied up in the house, pull some of it out at an excellent interest rate. North Alabama Mortgage can help you through all of that. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Textman, you are definitely a Power 5 elitist. More anti-Cincinnati malarkey from Tom. That comes from Grumpy. And this from Nicole Arlbeck from The Athletic, another bleeding heart liberal like Grumpy. Let's hope the selection committee doesn't hold Saturday's lackluster performance against the Bearcats, who led by 2 at halftime against 3-win Tulsa and nearly coughed up the game in the final seconds with a fumble snap. It took a wild goal line stand for Cincinnati to escape with a 28-20 win and remain unbeaten. The Bearcats continue to beat every team on their schedule, with the win at Notre Dame looking better by the week. Oh, God, they got one good win. Hey, they won a game. They beat one team. While the committee continues to manufacture reasons to keep non-Power 5 teams out. Why? Why do we hope that the selection committee doesn't hold their lackluster performance against Tulsa against them? All right, we won't hold it against them against Tulsa. Let's hold the one against them against 1-win Tulane. Or how about 2-win Navy? Okay? Navy by 7. Tulane by 12 or 13 late in the game. It was a game. Tulsa, 3 wins, 7. Get the hell out of here. Why not hold it against them? Oh, but look, Ohio State was only up by 7 in the fourth quarter and blew them out by 21. And Ohio State didn't even care about the game. It was a cupcake game for them.
Do you think that bowl game last year factors in at all for Cincinnati?
Yeah, well, some people think they do, because just like when UCF beat Auburn in a game Auburn didn't even want to be at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So, oh, my God.
Minnesota did the same thing, I think.
Yeah, national championship. Well, we saw it with Alabama twice.
Yeah.
You think Alabama gave a rat's ass about playing Utah after they, lost the SEC championship game?
Yeah.
I mean, motivation is important for these kids. What? The fact that they hung around with Georgia? Georgia beat them sleepwalking? Let's go to a bleeding heart. Grumpy. Go ahead, make the case, Grumpy. Make the case. I mean, you can't make the case.
What? I can't make the case? It's not the Grumpy Show, Tom. You got the microphone. I'm going to take a minute, dismantle one of your points, and then I'm going to leave you alone.
All right.
You said that it matters the motivation that Georgia had when they beat Cincinnati last year by 3, right?
Yeah.
So motivation matters with these, what you're calling kids and children right now, right?
Yeah, Georgia didn't care. They were just there. They were there to just go and lost the SEC championship game.
How
they went ahead and played
much did Ohio State? How much did Ohio State beat a very pitiful Nebraska team by?
8, 10, 12 points, something like that?
This weekend.
On the road in front of 90,000 people this past weekend. Yeah, they were motivated. They didn't play great. There's no doubt.
I'm just answering the question. How much did Ohio State beat Nebraska by?
It was, I think, was it 12? Hang on, I got it right here. It was, They beat them by 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't think that Nebraska got disheartened when they were down by Ohio State and that last touchdown should count by Ohio State? I mean, from what you're saying, kids get depressed and get downhearted.
Yeah.
And, Nebraska's down by a couple of points, give up another touchdown. Should that last touchdown count? Did it happen during the game?
Yes. Just like the 3 touchdowns that Ohio State scored in the fourth quarter against Tulsa counted. They counted. They blew them out. They didn't have to hang on.
But hold on. You don't think that Tulsa got down and got disheartened just like Georgia did against Cincinnati when they gave up the last one touchdown? So when they gave up that second touchdown, were they playing the same Tulsa team or were they playing a team that was depressed and downhearted? Should that last touchdown count against Tulsa? Because with your argument, it shouldn't.
I don't understand what you're saying. I mean, Tulsa was that was a conference.
You're saying that the teams, when they play another team, there's a lack of motivation
going in, not during the game. I'm saying going in.
Okay. Now
I'm just saying the preparation. Do you really think that Georgia was like out of their mind preparing? Was Ohio State going nuts preparing for Tulsa? They went through those games and they slepwalked and they beat those teams.
I think Georgia wanted to win that ball game as bad as they wanted to win any other ball game.
I think they were. I think
let me ask you this.
Didn't have some guys not even play.
Let me tell you this. That you don't win a national championship all in the year that you play it.
Right.
You don't. You have. Listen. If that was true, Alabama wouldn't be in the top 4. Alabama's signature win this year is against the 5-4 Mississippi State team. So if Alabama didn't have the history that they have, they wouldn't be in the top 4.
You don't like the beat.
5-4 Mississippi State game.
You don't like the beating of Ole Miss?
This is my point. Cincinnati went undefeated last year. That's what puts them in the argument.
Against a schedule that everybody in the friggin' SEC would go undefeated against. I mean, the schedule's crap. Well, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can't compare Power 5 conference teams with Group of 5 conference teams when the teams in the SEC, your beloved Auburn Tigers, would have went undefeated last year against that schedule.
There's the Power 5 elitists that Brandon.
But it's true.
There it is, it's right there.
But it's true. You don't think that Auburn would have went undefeated?
I think the quality of football in non-Power 5 conferences has come up in the last 10 years. I think that Cincinnati would do fine in the SEC. And the reason that you don't like that is because you have a Power 5.
By define fine. You tell me they don't lose 2 games, 3 games?
They would beat Florida. They would beat Auburn. They would beat Vandy. They would beat South Carolina. They would beat Missouri. There's 5 teams right there.
There's 5 wins, and that's if they would – wait, if they play Florida and Auburn back-to-back, they're probably losing one of those games. Oh, then they got to go to LSU. Oh, wait a minute. Then they got to go to Texas A&M.
Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true.
Just because you don't think that there's – if they're playing Auburn's schedule – by the way, Alabama's win over Ole Miss doesn't suck either. Just throw that one in there. That's a better win than the win over
Now we're reaching for we beat Ole Miss, and that's our strength.
Well, no, but Ole Miss is a 6-win team. They're better than Mississippi State.
My point is you win national championships by building a program and then getting the opportunity to play for it.
All right, so if Cincinnati's
being denied that.
If Cincinnati, all right, let's put our real brains on. If Cincinnati is playing at Penn State in front of more people than they've ever played in front of in their lives, if they play at Penn State, if they play at LSU in front of more people than they've ever seen in their lives.
LSU was horrible. They would beat LSU.
Sure they would. But you know what? LSU will step up and bite somebody here and there. But then after the LSU game, they come home and they play Georgia. And then they go play the hard-headed Arkansas Hogs. And then they play Ole Miss. And then they go to Texas A&M. And then they play Mississippi State. That's Auburn's schedule. I am here to tell you Cincinnati loses 3 of those games.
Let me use your
3 of them.
argument against you. Let me use your argument against you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that there's no room in the top 4 because Cincinnati can't play the schedule and win the schedule to get there, okay?
Right.
And let me ask you this. Who would you move out? Why is Alabama in the top 4? I mean, why? I mean, sure they have one of the top 4 teams, but tell me why Cincinnati doesn't. Because Alabama's signature win is against, now we're saying, Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
I don't know that Cincinnati could beat either one of those teams.
Ball with 2 minutes to go and could have tied the ball, could have won the ball game if they scored.
I don't know that.
I'm saying there's room. So my point is there's room at the top for Cincinnati if Alabama can beat LSU by 6 and stay up there.
All right, let me flip that around. Okay, let's flip that around. If Alabama the last 3 weeks had played Navy, Tulane, and Tulsa, do they win those games by 7, 11, and 7? Be honest.
I think that
they destroy those teams.
Navy would have kept it. Navy would have kept it within 20.
20, okay. Maybe
they would have.
Maybe,
yeah,
okay,
Navy
20.
Yeah, okay.
And Tulane what? And Tulsa what? Come on. I mean, they're all 20.
Tulane would have scored
30.
Tulane would have put 20. Listen, Tulane would have put at least 21 on Alabama. Look at
Alabama would have scored 60.
I don't know.
Come on. Come on.
No. Oh, let me ask you this.
What if Auburn had played Navy, Tulane?
Let me say this. I think Cincinnati would have beaten pitiful LSU by more than 6.
No, maybe not.
Yeah.
Not if they had just come off a game and a game.
You know what else? Cincinnati would have beaten Ole Miss, and Cincinnati would have beaten Mississippi State.
Not if they played them back to back. See, here's my point. My point is the cumulative.
I gotta say this. This is malarkey, and I don't have to put up with any malarkey because I'm going to call 1-888-SPARKY.
The point is, it's the cumulative effect. Could Cincinnati beat Ole Miss? Maybe. Could Cincinnati beat Mississippi State? Maybe. Probably. Could they beat Tennessee? Maybe. Maybe not. Could they then beat LSU? Could they beat Arkansas? Could play them all in a row? Could they go to Texas A&M and win? Play them all in a row.
Would LSU be favored against Cincinnati?
If it was played at LSU?
Yeah.
Or at Cincinnati?
I think at LSU, I'd say LSU, yeah.
At LSU's a favorite. At Cincinnati, it's like maybe a 2-point game or something like that. Maybe it's a 2. I don't know. It's the cumulative effect. I'd even say against Michigan's schedule. If Cincinnati was playing at Penn State, at Michigan State, at Ohio State, get the hell out of here. If Cincinnati was in the Big Ten East, they've got 2 or 3 losses. If they were in the SEC anything, they've got 2 or 3 losses. We're not even talking about Cincinnati. Man, I love these calls too. But I'm gonna get yelled at if I go long. Can Ray Dog stay there? Keep the Michigan fans stay there. We'll see what happens. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back one more after this 97.7 ESPN. So.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-94 888-848-4240.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Protecting your family is a priority. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are two of the best life-saving investments for the safety of your home and your family. But they do actually expire. The expert electricians at Mr. Sparky will test and advise or install the best unit for your home. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
Valley Equipment Rental. Pretty self-explanatory name, no? Thom Abraham here. And look, Valley Equipment Rental is all over the Tennessee Valley. And they rent equipment. All kinds of equipment. And not just to the contractors out there, but to you, the general public as well. Need a skid steer or an excavator? Well, they've got over 40 units to make sure they've got one for you. From huge boom lifts to miscellaneous hand tools, it's at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Parkway. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. More on that to come.
Football season is here.
Got a touchdown on a slant play. Rayleigh Cooper a catch. Oh my!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Oh, it gives me the anthem. All right, I got about 2.5 minutes. Let me get these guys in here. Let them get loose. Ray Dog is up next. Ray Dog, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. I'm going to be real fast. I'm going to destroy Grump's argument right now. Does a team in the country have – I'm going to name 3 teams. Who's got the 2 best wins? Cincinnati, Alabama, Purdue. By your logic, Purdue belongs in the top 4, and Alabama and Cincinnati doesn't. And you're looking at your radio asking, what the hell is Ray smoking? Can I have some, please?
Well, Purdue would be if they would stop losing.
Give me a warning.
It hurts. That hurt my ears. Purdue would be in the top 4 if they would stop losing to other people that aren't ranked in the top 5. I mean, let me keep the Michigan fan in here. Keith, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing all right, big dog. Hey, somebody was talking about Nebraska. Now,
Yeah.
Nebraska lost. They lost to Oklahoma by 7 points.
Yep, played them
They
tough.
lost to They lost to Michigan State by 3 points. Let me see. They blew out Northwestern. Michigan only beat them by 3 points. Nebraska lost to Minnesota by 7 points. Purdue beat them by 5 points. And Ohio State beat them by 9 points. So, Nebraska, I watched them play Michigan. That's a scrappy team. They got a pretty decent defense, and give them a couple of years, they're going to be, if Frost can make it, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
That's the key, is if Frost can make it. I'm wondering if he's doing enough, because they have been scrappy all year, Nebraska. I've made a few bucks with Nebraska this year, and they have been scrappy all year. And again, you can't tell me that there isn't an effect on a football team going into places where you play in front of 80, 90,000 crazy fans all the time. You don't have that at Cincinnati. They go beat Tulane.
No.
There was 18,000 people at the game. There was more people standing around outside the stadium at Nebraska than there were at the game at Tulane. They don't play in front of these environments week in and week out. Well, Michigan's got to go to Penn State next week in front of 100,000 people. I mean, it's just a different world.
Yes, it is. Thanks, big dog.
All right, man, appreciate you. Oh, good, we got those guys in. Yeah, if Purdue had beaten Minnesota and beaten Wisconsin both at home, even with the loss at Notre Dame, Purdue would be in the top 4. They would be in the top 4. But you can't get rid of the losses either. All right, coming up, Tom Luginbill. The Grim Reaper. Where he goes, teams lose. Ranked teams lose. And he's got Virginia and Notre Dame next week. Look out, Domers. We'll be back. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, the NCAA is setting the stage for a dramatic restructuring of college sports. Has released the draft of a constitution would provide Division I the highest level of collegiate athletics, the autonomy to reshape everything from revenue sharing to how rules are made and enforced. Also focuses on the NCAA's broader goals of athlete welfare. Proposed new constitution goes before the more than 1,200 member schools for feedback after next week's scheduled special constitutional convention. Could be amended before the full membership vote in January. NFL, former Browns receiver Odell Beckham Jr. on waivers today. Deadline to be claimed for Eastern tomorrow. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Beckham wants to spend the rest of this season with a playoff contender and in a winning environment. Cardinals running back Chase Edmonds set to undergo further testing on his injured ankle today, according to Schefter.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to move more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Grumpy hit the text window during Ray Dog's call and said, tell Ray Dog Cincinnati would destroy Purdue. Here, my contention is this. If they had played Michigan State the week before in front of, 60,000 lunatics and then had to turn around and go to Purdue the next week, I don't know that they would be Purdue. The point is the cumulative effect, and that's where the argument seems to take place, and that's why Tim Brando and I seem to not be able to agree either, because when it comes to this, he's a bleeding heart liberal as well. You're all bleeding heart. All of you making a case for Cincinnati are a bunch of bleeding heart liberals, okay? No matter what your politics are. You're bleeding heart football liberals. All right, joining us now, courtesy of our good friends at Woody Anderson Ford, where, the service department is second to none, all right? And you don't have to have a Ford to get service from Woody Anderson Ford or Woody Anderson of Madison, for that matter. They do a tremendous job, and they'll do a great job taking care of your vehicle. And they present us with Tom Luginbill each and every week from ESPN, and he's back on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Lugs, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, man. You are so right about Cincinnati. Just enough already. Stop it.
Well, I got into a little Twitter dust-up with Tim Brando, who's a friend. I've got great respect for Tim. But he is calling everybody elitists that are denying Cincinnati, and he said that he was broadcasting the Ohio State. He did the Ohio State-Tulsa game, and he reminded everybody that Ohio State was, leading by 7 with 11 minutes to go in that game. And I said, yeah, but did they need a goal line stand to hang on for the win? A. 2, they pulled away to win by 3 touchdowns. And 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're still talking about 19 to 21-year-old young men. For Ohio State, that's a cupcake game. That's a paid game. They're not even focused on it. For Cincinnati, that was a conference game. Come on.
Yeah.
But,
3 in a row. You consider Tulsa, Tulane, and Navy, okay? They all played out like that. And listen, this isn't – I want to be clear on this because I got a tremendous amount of respect for Luke Fickell and that staff and the job that they've done. And I've seen them firsthand. I saw them last year. I've seen them this year. They're a really good football team. They are. But I can promise you, if you pulled Luke Fickell in a room and you had a private conversation, he'd say, Coach, where are you with your 2s and 3s? And if you had to play a Power 5 schedule each and every week, what would that do to you guys? And he would tell you. That's the difference. It's not necessarily the ones. It's when Myjai Sanders goes off the field, all right? The guy replacing him is not Myjai Sanders,
yeah.
All right? If Desmond Ridder goes off the field, the guy replacing him probably has significant drop-off. That's the difference of what we're talking about here. And as I said to you guys last week, venues matter too, like environment, the tough places to play. Playing in front of 18,000 at Tulane isn't challenging your football team.
Yeah.
But you play in front of 90,000 in the Horseshoe, like Purdue's going to have to go do, and I don't know if Purdue will beat Ohio State. I've seen Purdue twice now when the quarterback doesn't turn the ball over. They're pretty dang good. I'll say that, and I'll say this too, Tom. That game against Michigan State, that wasn't just Purdue upset them. Purdue was the better team. They were better than Michigan State.
Yeah, if that game is still if that game is still going on, Purdue's still leading the game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, they are.
That's how it felt. And somehow they lose at home to Wisconsin, they lose at home to Minnesota. Even with the loss at Notre Dame, if they had figured out a way to navigate those 2 games with the win over Iowa and the win over Michigan State, Purdue's in the 4 right now. There would be in the Final Four right now. That they would be, but they couldn't beat Wisconsin or Minnesota at home. The other part of the argument with Cincinnati is I turn it around the other way. Caller said, Alabama barely getting by 6 points against a bad LSU team, and how would Cincinnati do against that LSU team? And I get all of that. But I turn that around and say, what if Alabama played Navy, Tulane, and Tulsa? Would they win those games by 7, 11, and 7, or would they be laughers? That's the point. What if Auburn played those three teams? They would blow them off the planet,
right.
And that's the difference.
It is the difference, and listen, I wouldn't even compare Cincinnati's personnel to LSU right now. LSU's not a good team, but LSU's got much better players than Cincinnati does. I mean, come on. I mean, what have we taught now? They're depleted and they're injured, and I know that's not the team that they started off with in August, but that's not even, a conversation. I'll tell you what, I saw a great tweet this weekend. It was somebody had listed their Final Four, and it was number 1, Georgia's defense, number 2, Georgia's offense, number 3, Georgia's kicking game, and number 4, Purdue.
Yeah. Well, Georgia does seem separated from everybody because, as much as I'd like to sit there and say, well, Alabama, boy, the way they look there, I don't know how you can keep them at 2. And then I said, wait a minute, what did 3 do? They got beat. What did 4 do? Oregon did not look good against a bad Washington. Yeah, they didn't look good. Right. What did 5 do? Well, 5 was Ohio State. They didn't look great at Nebraska playing in front of 90,000. What did 6 do? Well, they almost got beat by Tulsa, a 3-win team in their own little barn. What did, you know what I mean? You go down the list and you're saying, sure. Well, Michigan, that's a nice win. You know who's being disrespected? Here's Oklahoma. I hope they move Oklahoma. I would have Oklahoma over Cincinnati and Michigan over Cincinnati, personally.
There's no question. Everybody's crying and complaining about where Cincinnati is. Imagine having to apologize for winning like Lincoln Riley's had to do. And by the way, he's done that. He's done that with a freshman quarterback and played 9 straight weeks. Now, I know it wasn't always pretty. I had them twice. Against Texas Tech, it was pretty. They actually looked like they were supposed to. But they're the team that could end up going from 8 to 2 because of the remaining 3 games that they have. They've got Iowa State, Baylor, and Oklahoma State. They run through that, and they come out undefeated of the Big 12 championship game. I'm not saying they're going to. They're going to be the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, I would think that would be the case if they were able to run the table like that and continue to play like that. And still, when the question is, can anybody touch Georgia? I will say this about that. I am interested to see what this Tennessee offense could do with the Georgia defense. It just feels like Georgia hasn't played a dynamic offense at all. All season long. They haven't. And this is a dynamic offense. Average a ridiculous 10 yards per play against Kentucky and winning that game. Can't play defense still, but still 10 yards per play in that game. So I am kind of interested to see, as a 3-touchdown underdog at home, if UT can get some, can move the ball and get some points against Georgia. If Georgia just squashes that team, then we're looking at what we looked at 2 years ago with LSU just having an incredible year.
Yeah, they just might be having one of them deals where the stars align, right? And but you're right. This is kind of the last team outside of an SEC championship game that you're looking at that says, all right, could these guys make Georgia have to throw it to win? See, that's the thing. It's not having to play offense. It's not having to score points. It's if you had to throw it to score points. That's what nobody's forced them to do. Nobody's gotten them into a track meet. And I'm not saying Tennessee can. I will say this, though, Tom. Tennessee's got better personnel than people think they do. And Hendon Hooker, for whatever reason, couldn't ever put it together for consecutive weeks in his time at Virginia Tech. He's played lights out. They got good wideouts. They got a good running back. They've got a veteran offensive line. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me with the job that Josh Heupel's done if they get some explosives and they're able to put some points on the board.
Can they is their success based on how fast they go? I know that's that shock and awe thing, and they're faster than everybody. Or is it based on the play calling and the execution of the play? And what I mean by all of that is, can they just slow it down a hair so that they're not allowing the other team 100 snaps? I mean, that's part of what's hurting their defense. I mean, Kentucky snapped the ball 100 times, twice as many times as Tennessee. Do you think if they were to slow down a hair, that loses all its effectiveness?
I don't know, potentially. I've always said about going fast, everybody can go fast, but can you go fast and execute? Those are 2 different things. So they've been able to do that, and you're right. But you know what? I almost look at it, Tom, and I'm like, it's better than the alternative. What if you were going up and down the field and not coming up with points, not coming up with explosives? Now you put your defense back on the field. You're still using the same amount of clock, and you've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, Tom Luginbill with us here. Auburn was miserable in a 20-3 loss to Texas A&M. I had drank the Kool-Aid. I thought they had turned a corner. I bought into everything. Brian Harsin, his whole 9 yards. Bo Nix. Kids still can't throw the ball downfield. Misses guys down the field open. Still quick to run out of the pocket when it gets bad. And, and again, I look at A&M, and I think about lost opportunity. How in the hell did they lose at home to Mississippi State? Except for the fact that Zach Calzetta is getting better and better maybe, week by week, and wasn't ready then. But they lost at home to Mississippi State. They lost at Jerry's World to Arkansas. It just feels like A&M's a hell of a lot better football team, and they own the state of Alabama this year.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And listen, Auburn couldn't run the ball either. That was the thing. When you watched them finally explode on the ground, versus Ole Miss and look like what you want them to look like with Tank Bigsby and that group, and then not to be able to build upon that and bring it on the road, because, you want to quiet a crowd, get yourself in 3rd and 2 a lot because you're running the football, and all of a sudden you're converting 3rd downs, and Texas A&M doesn't get on the field. Auburn couldn't do that. The thing about Calzada is he perfect? No. Is he good enough to win a championship right now? Probably not. I still think they're working around him. I think they're doing everything they can to minimize his errors, minimize or mask his weaknesses while trying to accentuate the other strengths of the offense. Because, I look at him, and you look at some of these other contenders, man. You see Matt Corral, you see C.J. Stroud at Ohio State, even Stetson Bennett. I would take Stetson Bennett right now over Zach Calzada. So if Alabama were to stumble again, I don't know if that's the best offensive team to try to challenge Texas A&M.
Tom Luginbill with us here talking about a crazy day. Near chaos, some chaos. Everybody just looks sloppy outside of Georgia. So there's really nothing going to be – I don't know that there are going to be major changes. Obviously, Michigan State drops out of the 4. How do you think they go, and how would you go? Who are you sliding into that group? Is it Ohio State? How would you set up the 4 this week?
Yeah, I would definitely have Ohio State in there. I can't put them ahead of Oregon right now because of the head-to-head, but I think they're a better team than Oregon. And I think over the course of time and the remainder of this season, if Ohio State takes care of business, that head-to-head may not carry as much weight with the committee as it does today. So I would have to keep I don't feel comfortable putting Oregon over Alabama because I just don't think they're as talented, even though Alabama hasn't looked great. Oregon has their flaws. So I'd probably go Georgia, Alabama, keep them at 2, even though I don't love it. Oregon at 3, don't love it. Ohio State at 4, really like it and think they should be higher.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a way to move Alabama out of the 2-hole myself after the way they played. They're so sloppy. They make so many mental errors. They don't get lined up right. And let's face it, it's just not the same. Someday everybody will look back at that group of talent that was there in 18, 19, 20, all of these first-round wide receivers and the offensive line and everything else. It's just not the same group. Yet they still are, they're still 8-1. You know what I mean? They're not like Louisville, or they're not like Clemson, and they're not like LSU, and they're not like Florida, and these other places. They just continue to win, even though it doesn't. People are so spoiled with them. But there's nobody that I could slide in front of them, right? I mean, Oregon's win was no better than Alabama's win. There's nobody to put in front of them. Ohio State didn't look any better in their sloppy win against Nebraska. Who the hell do you put in front of them?
Well, I'll tell you right now, the one team that you could, I might amend my 4. I'm not saying I'd put them at 2, but I would have Oklahoma in the top 4 of Oregon.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how high they go from 8, because the committee have pigeonholed themselves a little bit, and they didn't play at all this week. So do they just automatically, based on everybody else? I want to see them. I want to see if they put them at 5. I mean, if what you did, with the 4 that you had, Michigan State opens up a spot in the 4. How far does Michigan State fall? I want to see if they got the stones to jump them over everybody up into 5 at least, if not into 4.
Can you imagine if they do that and jump them over Cincinnati? I will die laughing. People are going to come unglued.
Oklahoma would have beaten Navy, and even though they struggled a little bit with Tulane, certainly at home in that game, but Oklahoma would have beaten Tulsa by more. Well, they did play Tulsa, didn't they, or didn't they? Did they play Tulsa? I don't know if they did or not.
Tulsa played Ohio State.
Yeah, I know they played Ohio State, and they played them tough. They did play Ohio State tough. I don't think Oklahoma got them. Florida, what a mess that whole thing is down there. And Dan Mullen fires his defensive coordinator. He fires another coach, the offensive line coach. They were
GAs, by the way.
Is this a sign that he is going to get to stay? That he's being firing members of his staff, or is this just whistling by the graveyard?
I think this could be very similar to what we just saw occur with LSU, where you start making changes, you start moving away from people, and ultimately, if they don't work out, you're the last change, right? So, look at Ed Orgeron off of last season. He goes out and he reshuffles some position coaches, hires 2 brand new coordinators, all right, and it doesn't fix it. So now who's left to go? He is. I think that's probably what we're moving towards here. If he can get it back on track and make the right moves and make the right hires, I don't even know if it's so much about coaching. I feel like he's lost his team, Tom. I feel like those guys have no personal pride. They don't have any pride for the program. There's no care for the program right now.
I mean, to lay that kind of an egg. I mean, I loved it for Shane Beamer. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful for Shane Beamer and his family and all of that post game. I don't know if you got a chance to see any of that, but that was such a cool thing to see for him. But yeah, I mean, to go there and lay that kind of and not even show up. Now they got Samford, that's a layup. Missouri shouldn't be any problem. Florida State. So now all of a sudden they're going to end up being 7 or 8-4, something like that in the 7-5. God. They're going to be 7-5 on the season, but you think they'll give them 1 year? They'll give them another year to fix it?
Yeah, I do. I think the relationship there with Scott Strickland and they go back to Mississippi State. I think really what this comes down to at the end of the day is this is the first time in a long time that Dan Mullen hasn't had a quarterback. And all of a sudden when you don't have a quarterback, you become a mere mortal real quickly. And he had done such a good job and had such a track record. I mean, look at Clemson. They've got the same problem. Look at the reverse side of that right now with Manny Diaz at Miami. They found one, and it's completely transformed their football team. So I think that part of this is a big component because it just brings a lot of negativity. Now you start to have a divided locker room. The offense is doing their job. Defense, all of the things that can run downhill on you fast, they really stem from the fact that they're incompetent at quarterback right now.
It's amazing how quick the narrative can change, though, because everybody said that Miami had one of the best quarterbacks in the country, Derek King, coming back, 10th year senior or whatever the hell he was. This was the deal, and now it turns out now they have a quarterback. Even though they lost that one now to Georgia Tech, so it'll be still interesting to see what happens there. He's 4-5 as well in a year that started out with a lot of hype. All right, you're the Grim Reaper. Used to be you go, you bring a storm with you. Now you go and you bring an upset with you. Every team that it seems like teams get dumped when you show up. I'm not so sure that Virginia might not only have a little some for Notre Dame. But that's their game this weekend in primetime on the ABC. Set that up for me.
It all depends on if Brennan Armstrong for Virginia is healthy to play. If he's not, it's going to be a big, big challenge. If he is, Notre Dame better be prepared to score as many points as they did against North Carolina, if not more. Because that quarterback, Brennan Armstrong of Virginia, is a dude. He is for real. If you haven't watched them on offense and seen what he's done, he has lit people up. And they're really talented on offense. They have been horrendous on the year defensively. And, Notre Dame's coming off of that barn burner with North Carolina. This last week, they really struggled and kind of floundered around on offense the first half. They led 17-6 against a down Navy team. Ended up pulling away, but didn't look like they had looked versus North Carolina the week before. So you're right. I think this has another upset in the making written all over it, but it all depends on whether Brennan Armstrong's healthy enough to play.
When we have these conversations about P5 and G5, I always use your example of Utah moving up and TCU moving up and what has happened there. And again, we can't just blow off what happened in the Ole Miss Liberty game. We just can't. I mean, everybody's talking about Malik Willis, like he might be the first-round pick and might be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft and all this stuff. He's 16 of 25 for 173 yards, got sacked 9 times against Ole Miss. And it's not the greatest defense in the history of that college football. And they sacked them 9 times in an easy win over a Liberty team that everybody was gushing about. Now, Liberty did run the ball for like 285 yards in that game.
Yeah.
But still.
But again, you know what? Environment.
Yes.
Going into Oxford's a whole different ball game than going into some of these places that they're going into, man. And so now you double down on that. And again, it's funny you mentioned the TCU Utah thing. I have it so ingrained in my mind, like I have it memorized. TCU is 36-3 and Utah is 33-6. Their last 3 years. That's the one thing that I always point to shut down the group of 5 teams should be an automatic bid or should be in the top 4 if they're undefeated. It's nonsense. Both of those teams had less than 500 records their first 2 years at the Power 5 level.
Yeah, those were their records before they moved out of a group of 5 into the Power 5. Good point. All right, Thom Luginbill has been our guest. All right, Lugs, you guys are getting some really good games and some good time slots, man. Prime time on ABC Saturday night with your crew. Excellent deal, man. Go tear it up.
I appreciate it. I feel fairly certain, Tom, that Ryan Day probably called our bosses and made sure our crew did not have.
Don't bring that black cloud to my game. Don't bring that guy in here. All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks. See you. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, another big upset. Yesterday was a day of upsets in the NFL, and none bigger, really. I mean, you could talk about the Jags and the Bills. That's a huge upset. There was no doubt about that. But the Tennessee Titans, without Derrick Henry, go to L.A. and do that to the Rams? I mean, really? Teresa Walker's up next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Protecting your family is a priority. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are 2 of the best life-saving investments for the safety of your home and your family. But they do actually expire. The expert electricians at Mr. Sparky will test and advise or install the best unit for your home. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Have you ever found exactly the right new car or truck with the exact features that you want and nothing else? Well, at Woody Anderson Ford, we can promise you just that. Hey, Bobby White back again, and you can now factory order your new Ford today, and you'll get your new car or truck exactly the way you want it. And there's no extra cost to custom order. Plus, you get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates. This applies to 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, and Expedition. It's a win-win with a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford. You get the colors, the features, and the options that fit your life. Plus, you get notified when it's built, shipped, and ready to deliver. Listen, buying a new car or truck is likely the second largest investment you'll ever make. So why settle? Get exactly what you want with a custom factory order today. And get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect plenty of sunshine. High temperatures will be warming into the lower 70s for this afternoon, and it looks like we'll be remaining dry. For your Monday night, expect a mostly clear sky, low temperatures falling back down into the mid-40s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Valley Equipment. Hey, Grizz, there's the idea right there. Give Valley Equipment a quick call while I'm talking to Teresa and tell her who, you're calling from the radio station. I bet they got some dollies over there. We got to move some final furniture out of our other location. I bet Valley Equipment has dollies. I bet they got like a little hand truck. Maybe get Joe to call over there and snag them from those guys. In any event, at Valley Equipment, they got everything from dollies and hand trucks to lifts and excavators and skid steers. They got it all. For every job that you need to do, they've got the tool that you need to do it with at Valley Equipment. And Ross Roberts and his team, they're all locally owned operation. They do a tremendous job. Go check those guys out at Valley Equipment. Joining us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Teresa Walker. She covers the Titans and everything Tennessee for the AP, and joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. T-Dub, welcome back. How are you?
I am good. How are you, Tom?
Good. It was a little bit of a tough night last night for early on for Nashville sports fans because you had the Predators playing in Chicago at the same time as the Titans game was going on. So there were probably quite a few people going back and forth thinking that the Preds should have very little trouble with a one-win Chicago Blackhawk team, and the Titans, of course, are going to get their head handed to them without Derrick Henry against the Rams, and the exact opposite happened.
Well, there's a reason they play them, right, Tom? I'll just say this. Anyone who watches sports, usually when there's a coaching change, you get kind of an energy from that, right? And, shoot, some of the stuff I was seeing out of Chicago, there were tweets saying that it felt like players were drawing up power play approaches on the sideline, over on the bench by themselves, and didn't seem like they were listening closely to the coaching staff. It was just interesting. So sometimes when you get that coaching change, it's just such a breath of fresh air. And I think it was Dan Campbell came in as interim coach with the Miami Dolphins one year. A game, you think of teams in disarray. And it's a binding thing. The Dolphins came in and beat the Titans that day. So I've seen it many a time. And then with the Titans, so many people nationally looked at Derrick Henry being out for it just seems likely he's out for the rest of the regular season. The question is, will he have a chance, in the postseason? Pro Football Doc, once TV said that he didn't have just one screw put in. He had a plate and 5 screws put in. he's like, that means closer to at least 8 weeks at the minimum. Well, the good thing is the Titans had 9 games left and the bye week, so 10 games through the rest of the regular season. And right now they go into L.A. and credit Mike Vrabel. I mean, think about this. They identified some weakness in the interior of that Los Angeles Rams offensive line, and Danico Autry and Jeffrey Simmons simply feasted on that. Oh. And they turned in a defensive performance that we had not seen from this franchise in a while, but it feels like they've been kind of building to that. And as I'm looking at this team right now, Tom, the defense has taken a massive step forward. And, they were kind of the detriment last season, and the offense dragged them along. Well, this year, with Derrick Henry out, until this offense kind of finds their, sea legs, so to speak, without Henry, the defense made a clear announcement. We're here. We'll do our part.
Yeah, and it was amazing defensive effort. It was just so fun to watch. I'm a defensive guy, and I love when a team can just mug a team like that, and that's exactly what they did to the Rams. Now, I don't know week in and week out if they can do it with a limited running game. I don't know what they're going to get out of Adrian Peterson. Obviously, he looked like a guy that had been hanging around the house for the first half of the season. Physically very fit, but didn't quite look football ready yet. But he started coming to a little bit later on and did power his way into the end zone for that touchdown. I thought that was kind of cool that they put him in for that late touchdown there, which was really good. But when you look at the way this schedule sets up, they get a wounded Saints team next at home. Texans are terrible. Patriots, it's a winnable game there. The Patriots playing a little bit better. Then the Jags again. Steelers at the Steelers. San Francisco at home. Dolphins are struggling at home. Texans struggling at home. This feels like a 12-win team maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, they've only got 3 teams with winning records left the rest of the season. They play the Saints without Jameis Winston on Sunday. So maybe they're not quite what, Michael Thomas isn't going to be back for them. The run game didn't look so great because as I'm looking at the stats, the Rams third in the league against the run. So that's, they were going up a stiff defense. But, 2 games left against Houston, 1 against the Jaguars, 1 against Miami. And, while yesterday was a day where the underdogs kind of reigned, those happen once or twice in NFL season. Usually you kind of, regress back to the mean. And, the Titans are setting up very nicely. I saw a tweet this morning that, that they've had the toughest schedule to date. And think about this. They've won 5 straight, the NFL's longest winning streak right now. The last 4 playoff teams from last season, right?
Yeah.
Rams, Colts, both of those on the road, Chiefs, and Bills. If anybody had told you that they'd go 4-0 in that stretch, Tom, I thought that 3-1 was what they had to have out of that, and 2-2 is an absolute must. They couldn't go worse than that. But to go 4-0 in that stretch, they're 6-0 against playoff teams from last season. It just might be time to, consider them as contenders, not just in the AFC.
They're the best team in the AFC
for the title.
They're the best team in the AFC right now. I mean, they are the team to beat in the AFC after that run. Now, you look at the numbers, it is squirrely. It's weird. They didn't have 200 yards in that game. They had 2 for 143 yards, didn't run the ball well. That's a great Rams defense, as you said. But I think the other guy that needs to start getting some serious consideration, I mean, right now, Coach of the Year type consideration is Mike Vrabel and what he has been able to do and how he has been able to do it with staff changes year in and year out, it seems like, taking guys that nobody knows who they are with no history as coordinators and so on, and have this team playing this kind of a game. And it would have been so easy to be deflated by losing a guy like Derrick Henry, who's half of your offensive production. You lose a guy like Derrick Henry, you're going to L.A., there's every reason under the sun to kick out the 10 posts, and they play that kind of a game. It's just amazing.
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, think about this. For everybody in sports, everybody loves to have that chip on their shoulder, be the underdog. Oh, they're not picking us. Well, we're going to go show them. Well, the Titans they were at best in the AFC a week ago, and they lose Derrick Henry, and everybody's like, oh, they're done. They're done. I mean, the local paper here picked them to go like 11-6 down the stretch, and considering that they already had 6 wins, I mean, they had them losing, of course, to the Rams, and I told the writer I disagreed with his pick he had them losing to 49ers. That's a team that's also got a losing record. So Mike Vrabel has just quietly, when he was hired, Tom, he talked about, being flexible, versatile, multiplicity, and trying to find guys who love football. Now, John Robinson, they've got 19 guys who've been on IR this season, okay? That seems to be the most in the NFL right now. And yet, and the biggest one is Derrick Henry, and yet they just keep finding guys. Bobby Hart was abused a bit last night with Taylor Lewan active but not playing against that Rams line. But you also he came in earlier a couple weeks ago, played 42 snaps coming off the bench, was signed off of Buffalo's practice squad, on the Wednesday before they play the Chiefs. So they're finding guys, getting them in, getting them ready to play. I mean, Adrian Peterson, they did a walkthrough on Wednesday. He was there. They do a jog through on Thursday because this team is so banged up. And, Fridays, it's barely an hour and 15-minute practice. And he's out there, carrying the ball and running the ball. And, they're going to have to figure out this running back by committee on the run. But Mike Vrabel is managing to get this team, his coaches, to get them ready to play on Sunday with a changing cast of characters and doing what they need to do. Last night you're going up against, Von Miller didn't play, but you still had Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year on the other side of the ball, Jalen Ramsey. And they found a way to help get their defense to provide the winning thing. The key in that game, forget the offensive yards, the key to that game were the 2 touchdowns scored 11 seconds apart. The throw, the pick from the end zone, Matt Stafford never should have thrown that ball. Right. And then, they score. And then on the very next pass, Kevin Byard takes that ball into the end zone, the first pick six of his career. So, quietly that defense has really developed. Shane Bowen, a guy that he promoted, he's the young, finally gave him the title this year, but he's the youngest defensive coordinator in the NFL. And, right now, they're 14th in points allowed, 26th last season. They are tied for, I think, 5th in sacks. 3 guys already have more sacks combined than the team had the entirety of last season. So credit that front office for making some changes, and Vrabel and his coaches getting guys ready to play and getting them better.
And you wonder, going down the stretch, there's been a lot of, obviously, talk about an attention for Adrian Peterson because he's Adrian Peterson. But Deontay Foreman, just 5 carries last night, but he had 30 yards on those 5 carries. And you wonder whether or not, he's still a young guy. I think he's 25 years old, something like that. He had a good minute there with the Houston Texans. But you wonder whether or not that guy might end up being key down the stretch with those young legs and whether or not he could give them some real quality time.
Oh, absolutely, Tom. I mean, when he runs, he reminds me the most of Derrick Henry. Now, there's no creating another Derrick Henry, but his physical stature is close to Derrick, and he just gets up north and south. And he had some good runs for them last season, but he was not in camp with the Titans this off season. Okay, they didn't have him in camp. They were trying to go younger at that position. Mekhi Sargent was the guy that they kind of brought in to work alongside the other guys. So the fact that they brought him in and didn't get as much attention last week, obviously, as some guy named Adrian Peterson, but certainly productive. I'm curious to watch him moving forward because he was picking up some nice chunks of yards going up the field.
Did Jeffrey Simmons have 3 sacks in that game yesterday? I mean, it's just, it's just amazing the way the pressure that they were getting, the consistent pressure that they were able to get on the line. You mentioned Taylor Lewan, so they buy him another week. Pretty good feeling that he'll be good to go next week?
You would think so. He was active and for emergency use only. He apparently, did something to aggravate the knee. He was limited on Thursday, added to the injury report that day. And then he was active. He dressed, he warmed up, but, and then Mike Vrabel said after the game, he was kind of an emergency use only. And even though, Tannehill got thumped a couple more times with sacks, they didn't put Taylor out there. So if he's good enough to be active, you would think that another week would help him get to where he needs to be against the Saints. The challenge is they still have, They got the Saints, and then they host Houston, then New England, then they get the bye. So they got 3 more games before they get a week of rest.
Yeah, late buy for them. 4 more catches for Julio Jones, but just 35 yards. And how hurting is he? Is this about it? Is this what we're expecting now? That Julio Jones is, pretty much falling off to the point where, this is what you're going to get out of Julio?
Well, here's the thing. He's missed some games this year, yes. It looked like he was running better, and he said he was good to go on Friday. Now good to go at 32 as opposed to a couple years ago. Yeah. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. Tom, this is a guy that it still feels like he was brought in to help them through January and try to get to February. So if he can now just stay healthy and be available and not aggravate that hamstring and be on the field and, get more into this rhythm of the offense. He does have a 100-yard receiving game back in Seattle, week 2. Where he was running down the field. Chris Collinsworth said last night, that's the first time I've seen him run full pace. And it's like, he had, I think, a 46-yarder or a 51-yarder in Seattle. So he was running the field pretty good that day. But, we're just stay tuned. It's going to be a week-by-week situation, I think.
Yeah. All right. And then you mentioned Derrick Henry. I was surprised when they said it. I thought it was done. I thought he was done. I thought it was season-ending IR. I thought he was done. But they mentioned it, and they said, the hope to possibly get him back late in the year. I didn't realize that was even a possibility. So that's still floating around out there. And, man, if he were able to come back for playoffs, he's devastating enough after he's played 16, 17 games. Can you imagine him having half the season off and then coming back to play a playoff game or two in cold weather? And, with the teams that we're looking at going to be in the playoffs, teams like Buffalo, maybe Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, all cold weather places. That would be a huge boost.
Well, Tom, you talk about cold places. Again, sitting atop the AFC, I don't think you can dismiss the Titans, having a chance to have. Maybe they get a bye. Maybe they're the number one. Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think they make the playoffs this year. So, now granted, there is room for, Baltimore's schedule is even easier, I think, than the Titans. That so many of their home games at home coming up. But, the Titans certainly have a reason to think that they could be playing at home some games, and that's going to be the interesting thing. If you've got to have teams come here and play Derrick Henry in that place with a full packed stadium, they didn't have that in January. It was like, I think, 15 to 18% capacity for the game in January against the Ravens. You give me a full stadium and a Derrick Henry, even if you're only able to get 15 carries out of him, I'm very curious. Now, here's the thing. Titans are not putting a timeline on it because, not everybody heals the same way. Derrick Henry could be what we've seen and just heals quickly, or they may have to do more surgery. So we're just going to have to wait and see on what happens.
I could tell you from experience, though, that 45 degrees in January in Nashville is colder than 30 degrees up north in January. I don't know what it is. It just feels colder. I don't know if it's drier air or it's because you don't expect it as much, but, hopefully we'd have some little bit of Indian summer type weather or something at that point in time because don't act like Nashville in the middle of, the regular season doesn't even end until January 9th or something. So it could still be cold weather games even in Nashville.
But that's the thing. I'm saying they could be hosting these games at home potentially.
Yeah.
And, I this is my 25th season covering this team. One of the things I've always hoped for is to cover an AFC championship game in Nashville.
That would be cool. All right. As always, appreciate you so much. Great work. And we'll look forward to chatting again.
My pleasure. Thank you, Tom.
Let's grab a break, and when we come back, I really haven't even talked about Alabama and the I don't even know I don't even know how to describe it. I'll give you a little stream of consciousness notes that I made during the Alabama game when we return and some commentary on that. It's got time to get a phone call or two in still. 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luginbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Looking for a great deal? Well, I've got one for you. Thom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. And at Valley Equipment, if you rent after 3 on a Friday or on a Saturday morning, you're not due back until Monday morning. So basically, you're getting the entire weekend for the price of one day. And if you're in the service or are a vet, they'll knock another 10% off. Valley Equipment is locally owned and involved in our community through charities and even supporting local teams. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. Stay tuned for info on where that will be and when it will open. Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
Football season is here.
It is in the air. It has missed it. It's good!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a little bit.
That segment of the show is brought to you by TOC today. For all your orthopedic needs, it's TOC. God, so much to get to. Thankfully, we got all week, right? This is why I say there should be a bye every other week. 3 games left. 3 games. That's all that's left in the regular season. College football. TLC Sports. Look, no matter how you got hurt, doesn't matter. You need to see the folks at TOC. They will take care of you. Austin and Hazel Green hits the text window. This is the sloppiest and most inconsistent Alabama team since 2007. And Auburn is who we thought they were. And how about Kyle Larson winning the Cup? 10 wins in a single season. That's Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon type stuff right there. I think one year Rusty Wallace won like 8 or 9 or 10 races and did not win the championship. I think that happened in the old system. Yeah, good for Larson. The last time we see that kind of a car, last time we see 5 lug nuts. So last time we're going to see a lot of things in NASCAR that next year will be different. Again, I'm just going to say this about that quickly. We should start the playoffs. They should start the playoffs on July 4th, and they should wrap that sucker up by Labor Day weekend at the Southern 500. 26 races is enough. We don't need 36. These 10 weeks during the football season are brutal. Can't watch it. I just can't watch it.
Now, let's go into the mind of the big dog and see what he was thinking during the game. The mind of Thom Abraham.
The mind of Thom Abraham.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm drawing a total blank here. It's Dog's stream of consciousness.
So I just make notes. When I'm watching a game, I just make notes and then kind of develop what my thought process is on the game, Grizz, afterwards as I make notes. These were some of the notes that I made. Stream of consciousness notes during the game.
Let's hear them.
Henry To'oTo'o, he was the bust on the fake punt, first of all. All right? They had the inside. They had the run covered. Henry To'oTo'o had one job, and that was to take anybody leaking out over the middle. I mean, I was a special teams coordinator. I know a thing or two about it, and I'm telling you right now, To'oTo'o needed to be dropping and covering that pass, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He was also the bust on the TD at the end of the drive. You know, we went right down the field, and then they hit the thing, and he's covering grass. He went running, chasing a play action the wrong way. Tight end leaks out. I've not been impressed by that kid. He makes a splash play every once in a while. He has not been really impressive to me. Way too much pressure. Way too much pressure. This line is so leaky. I can't believe that Bryce Young is still standing. He is taking way too many hits, way too much pressure. Alabama went into, I don't understand. Coming out of a bye, it's LSU, and just not ready mentally.
And everything I had heard all week about them, like wanting to destroy them since that 2019 season, and it was like nothing happened. I mean, you destroyed them last year. Pick up from it, and I felt like it didn't at all.
It was just so many mental type errors. Mechie not getting the first down. You know, on that one play on the outside, the delay of the game, 12 men on the field on a friggin' special teams play. Just sloppy. Bleh. They're 8-1. They're number 2 team in the country. But it's just sloppy. And you know, it was their first scoreless first quarter in 5 years. In 5 years. Fumbling snaps. Brian Robinson. 3 times missed blocks on blitz pickup. I mean, 3 times completely going in the wrong direction. Going to get the quarterback killed.
Oh, there was one time where I watched Bryce, try to fake it one way, like he was handing it off one way, and Robinson was already gone. And it was just like, what are you doing? I mean, even Bryce looked confused on the play.
Yeah. Just not ready. Just sloppy. I mean, there's no way that you beat a Georgia team like that. I don't know if you can beat Auburn like that, except for Auburn looked like crap. Let me get Brandon in here to wrap it up. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Fantastic. It's been a good show today.
You know, it has been a good. Thank you for saying that. I agree with you. I'm going to give this show about an 8, 8.5. This has been a good show today.
Well, the cure that we're talking about here with this whole Cincinnati mess is you need to feed the monster and give it what it wants. This year, with all these bad teams and stuff, I sincerely hope that they make the playoff and they give them the number 4 seed. And then when they don't manage to get to the 30-yard line on Georgia and may not even get a first down against them, and they get their head beat in, these people like Tim Brando are going to have a short memory. What? Oh, they made it. They finally made it. No, they need a dose of getting the ever-living hell beat out of them.
Yeah, and you know what will end up happening instead? What will end up happening is they'll finish just outside the Final Four. They'll get invited to, like, the Sugar Bowl or to the Fiesta Bowl or something like that. They'll play some other team that just missed it, like Michigan or Michigan State or somebody like that doesn't, not in the Sugar Bowl, but you know what I mean, that doesn't even want to be there, that's like brokenhearted that they didn't get in, and they'll win the game, and then they'll declare a national championship. And then everybody will talk about how they got screwed because they beat some totally unmotivated P5 team in a bowl game that didn't even want to be at the bowl game.
Agreed. But if they got the 4 spot, it would be a head-to-head last year. And we would see what would happen from there. But I think people would finally say, oops, yeah, this was a bad idea. We've done it once. Let's don't do it again.
Appreciate the call, Brandon. The Chubby Ninja said, for the love of all that's good and kind, UGA had something like 8 or 10 major players out against Cincinnati last year in that bowl game.
Monty Rice, I think, was out in that game.
Yeah, all of them they sat out.
Stokes. And
they still beat them. Get the hell out of here. That's what I got to see with Cincinnati. Get the hell out of here. Chuck Oliver is next. I'm Thom Abraham for Chad. This has been 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family.